Good afternoon, evening. I'm back in my little front yard garden with my kitty, and I just wanted to go over. This is Pamela Drake, for those who don't see who this is on Instagram. What happened with the budget? Because there were some questions. Some of the questions had to do with, well, why would you expect the police commission, the OIG, all those parts of the police commission, CIPRA, to be funded when other things weren't fully funded? And that's a good question. The council did a good job, I think, in trying to fully fund things. But the issue is there are other ways that things can be funded, and that is because the police department gets the most money out of the budget, but seems to be the most inefficient, the most poorly run department. And the reason seems to be that everyone wants to do what the police union says, and the police union will not give an inch to what the city actually needs. And that means that there needs to be a control over overtime. Whoever the next chief is, including if it's Chief Beer, needs to be fiscally accountable and responsible. And overtime can't just be what someone who's already well paid wants to do with their extra hours, saying they're working up to 23 hours a day on looking at crash information. That's not valid or accountable for that person to walk away with over $700,000 a year. That's not what people in the city are making. And so that needs to be accountable. It's also true that there are a number of police, I'm saying at least 40, some people say more, who are spending their whole time doing paperwork. They're part of the bureaucracy. They're not doing public safety work. So this overtime, lots of it, is not going to doing public safety work. So we need that to be looked at. We have also another $450,000 going to a new position, constitutional policing, but that's what we're supposed to be doing with the civilian, citizen-led police commission and its parts. And so that is how we need to be looking at that. Here's the other part. When the community comes and responds to the budget that's being proposed, and most of their response is, will you fully fund civilian-led, community-led police oversight? Because we're never going to not need that, and the police can't do it for themselves. No organizations or professional group can oversee themselves the way independent outsiders can. Okay, so will you fully fund that, and will you look at overtime and why it's depleting every other service people in the city want? That other unions and other workers are needed to do jobs that they can't do because the police department is depleting every other service. So when they all come and say that, and there is not one response until the very end of the meeting, when Councilwoman Carol Fife says, what is your response about police oversight? Are we not for that anymore? Do we not believe that the public, the community, which voted for community-led civilian police oversight, should not exist? What's the answer to that? And we'd like to know what the answer is and why the community can stand up and say their concerns. And the council, they could disagree. They could say, well, it's because we need this and that instead. They don't respond at all. They started with this non-response when it was up to them to repost the two commissioners that were ready to be reselected, because there were no other commissioners waiting at the time to take up their positions, and they had the trust of the community. The council members decided to vote against restating them to the commission. Not a word as to why. That's not okay. It's not okay for people who are elected to do a job representing constituents to not respond. I am not trying to put down this whole council. I know all these people are very sincere and care a lot about their job and work very hard. But you do have to respond to constituents. Thank you.